I'm not Butch Hartman, by the way. My name is James Steele. Who here watches Butch Hartman's YouTube channel? Anybody? Yes, awesome. I am the editor, cameraman, and producer for Butch's YouTube channel. And so, yeah, I'm glad you guys watch. It's awesome. Thank you so much for watching. But now, you guys don't want to see me. You guys want to see Butch Hartman. So I'm going to introduce all the shows before I introduce him. And we need some applause for each show, okay? I'm going to end with what fans might say is the best show, is their favorite show. So let's go with, he's the creator of Fairly Odd Parents. The Nuke Network, now in the App Store. And he's also the creator of the newest Nicktoon, Bunsen is a Beast.
I just saw one.
Tough Puppy.
I hated that one.
And maybe Danny Phantom. So let's bring him on now, Butch Hartman.
I also know Ember. Hi, Ember. Ember's here from Dating. Hi, guys. Hey! First of all, give it up for my man Jace over here. If you don't mind, Jace. He's my younger, thinner, blonder self. You guys having a good time at the CrunchyRoll Expo? Very cool. I agreed to come to the CrunchyRoll Expo because I had nothing else to do this weekend, and I'm kidding. I'm really honored that they invited me. Thank you, CrunchyRoll gods, for inviting me. But I've recently become very, very into anime, so that's pretty cool. I shouldn't say I've recently become into it. I've been into it since I was a kid, but when I was a kid, there was a lot less anime in the world, and now the anime kind of scares me because there's so much freaking anime out there right now. And I'll talk a little bit about something I'm doing later on that involves anime. Hopefully you guys will be excited about it. But I'm just excited to be here. This is awesome. And what I like to do when I come to events like this is kind of get to know you guys a little bit. I want to know what you guys would like to know. You came here for a reason. First of all, I want to give Fred Seibert a big round of applause. We just hear Fred Seibert. Fred wears a white shirt, so he is good. I, of course, wear the black shirt because I'm me. No, but Fred's great. Fred has been a mentor and a dear friend of mine and a collaborator of mine for many, many years, probably longer than a lot of you have even been on the earth. That's how long I've been around. But anyway, it's good to be here. And I just like to start off by just taking questions. I want to know what people want to know about me or about animation, about the industry, about anything you want to know. And I have some things here. Jace mentioned earlier that I have an app on the App Store called the Nuke Network, and it's a really cool app. It's got all original programming on there made by me. It's all cartoons, games, and live shows. It's very cool. And I happen to have some Nuke Network Fidget Spinners here. Because I think it's a law now. Everyone has to have a fidget spinner or you go to jail. So if you come up and ask a question, or if you have a question, if you ask it, you will get a fidget spinner. See, I'm baiting you. I'm plying you with goodies. And how are we going to do the questions? You have a microphone? What's your name again, sir? Oh, this is Justin. Yes. Right. Justin's got a microphone. And this young lady, what is your name? Jocelyn. Two J's. Justin and Jocelyn and Jace. Oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by J people. All right. So they're going to run around with microphones that are really fancy. And if you have a question, raise your hand. You guys get to pick. We'll go with Jocelyn first.
Hi. So you've made a bunch of results from like Danny Phantoms, like Fire Parents, Tough Puppy. Those are a lot of different concepts to start with. You know, talking dogs, the fairies, the ghosts. I was wondering how you choose an idea and then push that into a show that you work with for a long time.
So how do I come up with ideas like that, and how do I present them? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is everybody interested to hear the answer to that question? Okay, first of all, give this young man a fidget spinner. Give it up for him. Who in here likes to draw? Very cool. Who in here likes to write? Okay. Everybody who raised their hand for drawing should have raised their hand for writing as well. Like Fred just said, if you're an artist, you have to be a writer as well. I'm not kidding. If you become a writer, you automatically increase your value by 20 million%. Because 20 million. Exactly 20 million. Because you're not just a person who can draw. You can actually come up with concepts and stories that people might want to see. To answer your question, coming up with ideas and stories, I'll sit and I'll draw characters all day long. I'm always drawing. I've been here for a day and I've been just in my room drawing and hanging out in a hotel. But I'm always coming up with something new and something exciting that I think is fun. And eventually some of those drawings will turn into even more drawings of a character, or I'll add a friend for that character, or make a world for that character. Then I've got to come up with the writing and the dialogue and the stories. And if I'm afraid to do that, and if I don't know how to do that, then I limit myself. You know what I mean? And then I limit my value. I might be an amazing artist, man, but if I can write a story too, even more valuable. So I'm here to encourage you all to learn how to write, even if nobody reads it. It doesn't matter if someone's going to read it or not, because you know what? All the bad stuff is going to stay with you. Don't show it to anybody. But eventually, you'll get good and you'll be able to show your stuff. That's another thing I want to tell you all. Don't have any fear about your artwork. A lot of people in here are like, I'm an artist, but I don't want to show my stuff because people might ridicule it. Welcome to my world. I get criticized, but my stuff gets criticized all the time. Maybe not verbally, but the second somebody looks at a piece of art, they can start criticizing. But if you're going to be afraid and never put your artwork out there, you're never going to go anywhere. What if I had fear the day I went to go pitch Fairly Odd Parents? What if I had fear that day? Oh, I'm really nervous. And what if they don't like my show? What if I'd not gone in that day? Then I miss an opportunity. I always say opportunities are like comets. They're really cool, but they don't come around very often. Okay, it might be a long time until you see another one. Who saw the eclipse this year, or this week? Yeah, the last one was 38 years ago. All right, so if opportunities are like eclipses, the eclipse took my comic joke, man. They're like eclipses. They only come around every so often. Thanks for the question. Did you have a question for me, Jace? That's why Jace is sitting here. Jace is here to feed me ideas and questions and things.
And I'll hand out Fidget Spinners too. So
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, how was, speaking of pitching, how was the process of pitching, Fairly Odd Parents, your first show, compared to Danny Phantom, your second show?
Anybody want to know this?
Yeah.
All right. Say yes, Butch, we want to know. Thank you. They're all alive. Thank you. No, when you pitch a show of any kind, you're really, like Fred mentioned earlier, taking a risk. And it's all about risk. If you're going to be a creative person, it is all about risk. Because you are going out there and you're blazing a new trail. Blazing a new trail like I'm inventing the iPhone? Well, maybe you are, but maybe you're coming up with a story no one else has ever thought of before. And so when I pitched, here's the story how I pitched Fairly Odd Parents. I was working on a show called Johnny Bravo. Was ever heard of Johnny Bravo? That's right, baby. I worked on Johnny Bravo for a guy named Van Partible. Van created the show, and I worked with a young up-and-coming writer. He's not very talented. I don't really think he's going to make it. His name is Seth MacFarlane. By the way, I'm sorry I'm not Seth MacFarlane, okay? All right. But Seth and I were writers on Johnny Bravo, and we were having a great time, and then season 1 of Johnny Bravo ended, and I was going to be out of a job. And this is where your talents as a writer, storyteller, artist come into play, because you have to learn, like Fred was saying, you have to learn how to draw different styles of things all the time. Like, I had to learn how to draw Johnny Bravo and write for his character, but then I jump over to another show and I have to learn how to draw for that show. So as an artist, you got to be flexible, you got to be nimble and be on your feet. So anyway, I was working on Johnny Bravo, and I got sick of working for people. I'm so tired of working for other people and losing my job, because shows end. I'm going to come up with my own show. So I decided to come up with a show about a little boy, because you write what you know. I used to be a little boy. About an hour ago. No, I'm kidding. No, but I wrote a show about a little boy, and I drew him, and it was Timmy Turner. But his name wasn't Timmy Turner. His name was going to be Mikey something, because I have a brother named Mike. But we had a fight that day. So I scratched out the name Mike, and I have another brother named Timmy, and I wrote Timmy. So Timmy Turner is named after my brother Tim Hartman. And I named Timmy Turner. I'm like, well, this kid's really cute. What can I do with him? I want to do something where I can, and I was a writer at that time. I was learning how to write. And I'm like, I need a good way to get this character from place to place. I didn't want to be stuck having to write long stories, So I thought I could give him like science powers, and he could teleport. But I couldn't do science because Dexter's Lab was already out. Right? And that's another thing I want to tell you guys, pitching shows, writing stories. Do your homework. You might have a great story idea, but if the studio already has that kind of a show, they're not going to buy your show. Nothing personal. At Nickelodeon right now, there's Ninja Turtles. There was a show called Super Ninjas, Kung Fu Panda, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, Avatar, The Last Airbender. There were 4 martial arts shows on Nickelodeon. So you don't want to go in there with a martial arts show. Even though your martial arts show was amazing, they're not going to buy the martial arts show from you. So come up with something new. That's another risk you have to take, coming up with new stuff. Get out of your comfort zone. Anyway, I pitched up, I drew Timmy. I thought, well, I can't give him science powers, I'll give him magic powers. He needs a magic friend. I drew Wanda, whose original name was Venus. I thought, oh, that's a fun name. I thought Magic Wanda is better, so I drew, Wanda. And then I thought, I've never seen a fairy godfather before, so I drew Cosmo. And I had that one drawing, and that whole process took about 15 minutes. And it's surprising, I know. Some shows take a lot longer. This I do 15 minutes, and I go, he needs an enemy. I'll make this evil babysitter, and then the fairies can turn into things because kids love to have secrets. And then we have secret friends in his room, so they turn into fish, they can turn into boxes, they can turn into clothes, whatever. And I came up with that whole thing in like 15 minutes and pitched it. And I actually pitched it. Fred was after me because he was over at Nickelodeon. I was at Hanna-Barbera. Fred said, I've got one slot left on the show called the Oh Yeah Show. Can you come over and pitch me a cartoon? At first I said no, but then I said, hey Fred, Johnny Bravo's name, hey Fred, you have that slot open still? He said, I have one slot left, so I went over there and Fred bought it, went on to the Oh Yeah Show, and then Nickelodeon liked it and went from there. And then Danny Phantom came about, because I was trying to think of another idea about a year later. Fairly Odd Parents was doing really well on the air. And I'm driving from Las Vegas with my mother in a moving van. Okay? My mom's moving from Vegas to live with me, so I'm driving in a moving van, and usually it takes about 4 hours to get from Vegas to LA. I'm in a moving van, it took about 8 hours. So I'm driving, my mom and I got tired of talking to each other, and I knew Nickelodeon was looking for a boys action show. And I'm like, boys action show? I remember the show Johnny Quest. Who likes Johnny Quest, right? Sure. Did they applaud that loud for my shows?
Even louder.
Even louder.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I don't have to remember.
You keep one of those fidget spinners for yourself.
Oh my gosh!
But I'm looking. I go. They need a boys action show. I thought, okay, if I could come up with a cool name like Johnny Quest, that's step number one. So what would be a cool name? I'm driving and I'm going, okay, lightning is a cool word. Power is a cool word. Toast is a cool word. And finally, I ended up on the word Phantom. I just ended up on Phantom, and I'm going, okay, Phantom. Billy Phantom, Johnny Phantom, and by the time I got to LA, I had Danny Phantom in my head, and I was like, okay, so I started drawing Danny Phantom, and then the head of Nickelodeon, his name is Albie Hecht, great guy, takes me out to dinner about 6 months later, and he goes, hey, we love Fairly Odd Parents, we're going to make more, we'd love you to do more. I'm like, great. Then he goes, do you have anything else? How many of you can answer that question? Like I said, have something else. I mean, I always have a plan B, always have another idea. So I go, as a matter of fact, I do have something else. It's called Danny Phantom. And he goes, great, let's make it. How cool is that? Right? Very cool. Right? But then he goes, let's make it. All I had were a few drawings of Danny. I'd seen really cool drawings of Danny. I finally figured out the white hair thing. I had the whole Danny Phantom thing, and I'm like, I didn't know who his friends were, where he went to school. I didn't know any of that. So then the development process started, and that was a 2-year process after he said, let's make it. So, things do take a while to get to develop and do right. So yeah, that answers that question.
Awesome.
Any other questions from an audience member, Justin? Let's give Justin a run around.
What inspired you to make anime characters?
To make anime characters?
Yeah.
What inspired me to make anime characters? First of all, give that young man a fidget spinner. Nice. What inspired me to make anime characters was whenever I sketch and draw on my sketch pad, and I'm not working like on my shows, I'm always drawing superheroes and anime stuff. I'm always just like drawing, and I shouldn't say anime. I don't draw anime per se because I guess you can only call Japanese cartoons anime. I do anime inspired things, and I just love anime. I always have since I was a kid. When I was your age, there was a show called Speed Racer. Yeah, Speed Racer. Here comes Speed Racer. Anyway, yeah. Love Speed Racer. And there was a show called Astro Boy. Astro Boy. Yep. There was a live action show called Ultraman. Remember Ultraman? Ultraman. And then there was a show, Kimbo the White Lion. He lives down in deepest, darkest Africa, Africa. But yeah, so I was inspired by those shows a long time ago. I really was, and I really dug Speed Racer because he had the super-powered car. Who can name the car?
Mach 5.
That's right, the Mach 5. Very cool. I hated the live-action movie. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, maybe there's some fans.
Slip that in there.
I slipped that. I want to slip it in. Does that answer your question? But I've been inspired since I was a kid. I just really love anime, and I really love the new stuff. My favorite current anime now. Who can guess what it is?
Pokemon.
Oh, I heard it.
Wait. What'd you say?
Yep.
One Punch Man is my. Not to knock any other anime, but One Punch Man is so freaking cool, and the theme song is awesome.
I haven't seen it yet, but every time we film every week in a YouTube video, almost every time we go into film, we're just like, can I just show you the theme song one more time? We just like play it over and over.
This theme song is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got the English version so I can understand what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly. So,
Cool.
speaking of anime, you've kind of been teasing on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on your Sketchpad account on Instagram, that you might be going into the anime route with new animation, maybe depending on YouTube.
I am. I'll be doing an anime show very, very soon. Very soon. Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know, can I really talk about it at all? I guess should I talk about it a little bit? All right, well, anyway, you guys won't rip this off, right? You won't steal the idea. Right? Nobody here is signing a waiver. No, I'm kidding. Okay. What's that? Oh, thank you. Don't leak it. Yes, don't leak it. Yeah, no, I'm doing a show about an elf detective who fights mythological crime. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it there. Follow my social media. You'll see a lot on there. It's already leaked. I've tweeted it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool because I love drawing this character. Sometimes I make a show sometimes just because I love drawing the character so much. Like Bunsen as a Beast, my new show. Anybody see Bunsen as a Beast? Does anybody see it? Yes? Okay, cool. Just pretend. You guys clap just like it's Yeah, thank you. It just came out, but anyway, it was a blast just drawing this little beast. And it took like 1,000 drawings to get to him finally, but I finally got to him when I stopped drawing him, yeah. So. Who else has a question in the audience? Who else?
Question over here.
Justin, Jocelyn? Oh, here she comes. It's her turn. It's like a game show. Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello. Can you? Okay.
We can hear you.
If you had fairy godparents for a day and nobody was allowed to find out about them, what would you wish for?
Oh, jeez. That's a good question. A much bigger, no. Bank accounts! Bank accounts! I said bank accounts. No, I would probably wish to have the power to eat whatever I want and not gain any weight. Yes, could you give him a fidget spinner?
Yeah, oh, we got it.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. I have a Danny Phantom girl.
Question
down
over
here.
here.
Oh, one second, we'll get to you in a second.
Deadpool, there we go.
Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
And if so, how do you feel it helped you as a writer and storyteller? Yeah.
Is that your real voice?
No.
Fine. I'm like, Dad. No.
Oni-chan.
You know why Dungeons and Dragons helped me as a writer and storyteller? Because you have to basically make up your own story while you're playing the game. Correct? It really is. I just read the book Ready Player One. Who's read Ready Player One? Awesome. Ready Player One even says in there that Dungeons and Dragons, in a way, was like the first reality show. Because you kind of had to make your own reality as you were playing it. And as an artist kid, when I used to draw, I would draw little scenes from my battles and stuff like that. So it really helped me to learn how to be a comic book artist as well, because I love comic books. That's really where I get a lot of my inspiration from, too, are comic books. So I think it helps a lot. Any forum where you can be creative and make up your own stuff and have to tell a linear story arc from beginning to end, it always helps. And also, I want to tell you guys this, too. Hang out with other people that do what you do. Always hang out with them because, you know, you're going to, when I went to college for art school at Cal Arts, I loved it because we were just nerds, nerding out over comic books and cartoons. And we talked about it 24/7, we were completely immersed in it. And half the guys that I went to school with and are running Pixar, they're running Disney, we're all working in the industry. And everybody applied what they loved and what they talked about every day, and they're making a living at it. Who wants to make a living doing what they love? Amen, exactly. You can make a living doing what you love. And when you make a living doing what you love, it's not even work. It doesn't feel like work. You feel guilty getting paid for doing what you love every day. Exactly. I feel guilty every day. 24 hours a day I feel guilty. I shouldn't have killed this. But anyway, I'm sorry. Oh, it's coming out.
Now spread the other panel.
Let's have the Danny Phantom girl ask a question over here. We'll get a microphone to you. Jocelyn? Oh no, Justin's got it. This young lady in the white hair. Is that the Danny Phantom character or the black cat from Spider-Man? No. Okay, thank you very much. I'm honored you addressed that one. Thank you.
Who's your favorite Danny Phantom villain, and what was the creative process behind him or her?
Who was my favorite Danny Phantom villain? Good question. What was the creative process behind that? I think I really love a lot of the villains. I love Ember over here. Ember, I love Ember. I love Ember because I got to write that cool song for her, which I really love. The Nickelodeon will release on iTunes for some reason. Anyway, I know. Please don't blame me. Everybody goes, bring back Danny Phantom. I would if they would let me. I promise you. Just keep bugging them. I promise you. Hopefully it'll work one day. But my favorite villain probably is Vlad Plasmius. Because Vlad is such a rich character, and he's so full of, there's just a lot of rich material there with him. And he's just, I love the fact he's had his powers 20 years longer than Danny, too. So he's actually better at his powers than Danny is, but it's pretty cool. Who's seen my video, Danny Phantom 10 Years Later? Everybody seen that video? Yeah. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube. It's very cool. I draw all the Danny Phantom characters 10 years later. That's why it's called that. And then I have a second part where I draw some more of the characters 10 years later. So I'm kind of building a brand new show there on YouTube. It's pretty cool. So yes, any more? This young lady has a question right here. Yes, duck down. No one can see you. There we go. Okay.
Hey!
Hi!
How are you?
Where's your unicorn outfit?
Oh, I know. I wear it to get up from bed.
It's a long story. Last time I saw her, she had a unicorn outfit on. Anyway, yes. What can I do for you? What's your question?
Yeah, so I actually have a question about relating to the fandom. So if the series were to continue, would Danny and Sam get married and have kids, or would they break up because they started out so young, like young love? Please don't say it's the latter. Please don't say it's the latter.
First of all, give her a fidget spinner. Did she get one? Well, you know what? That's one of those questions where I will have to make you wait for an answer.
No.
Guys, here's why. Here's why. I really can't even say yet because we're not doing the show yet. But it would be my preference to see the relationship continue. However, I would imagine there would be a bump or two in the road down the road. That's what I would say. That's all I'll say. But I also think it's just, guys, and also as a storyteller, this is a perfect example. You guys are going to have to make decisions on your stories because it's all up to you. If you're making a story, there's going to come those times. You're sitting there at the typewriter. What do I do now? What happens in the story now? How does this character look? And when you work in TV and movies, you have to make those decisions on a deadline. So you have to make these decisions, guys. And people go like, you know, Butch, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? It's like, well, to be honest with you, it was Friday at 3 o'clock. We had to make a decision. That's really what a lot of things come down to. Now, I've got most of them don't, but a lot of them are like, make his hat pink because I'm on a blue marker. You know, that's why Timmy's hat is pink. I ran out of blue in my marker. That's pretty much why it's pink, and I thought it'd be funny having a boy with a pink hat. I make fun of it all the time, so it's really kind of an iconic thing. But you make decisions at the last minute sometimes, you know. But anyway, I can't answer your question yet. I wish I had an answer. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'll have to show you Flat Danny grew up.
Well, I'm sorry, what?
Flat Danny grew up.
Flat Danny grew up. Show everyone Flat Danny.
Well, this is the new Flat Danny. This is Flat Danny.
Turn it around. Turn it around. This is Danny. Look at that. Flat Danny. Give it up for Flat Danny. Do I get to keep this?
No.
Oh, yeah, isn't he cute? He's so cute. I love that. It's really, really nice. I'm going to put him right here. That's great. Okay, anybody else got a question? Oh, all the hands. All right, Jocelyn, find somebody. Here she comes. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Emma has a question. Yes.
So, the box ghost.
Yeah.
box ghost? I am the box ghost! I haunt things that are cardboard and square! That was, you know what, that was just a ghost. We're like, we need it. The script said Danny chases a ghost who gets away. We're like, what is it? Then it comes time. What is the ghost he's chasing? Well, they're in a warehouse. Is he a ghost who just haunts boxes? Yeah, that's what he does.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. So we're doing Danny Phantom Painters later. We did part 1 and part 2. If we did part 3, what would the box ghost be doing? We kind of saw it in Ultimate Enemy. We kind of got an alternate timeline with these new YouTube videos.
What would the box-
What would you be doing?
The box ghost would be working for the company that delivers those pods to your house. You know the pods you
Like a
store?
ghostly
Yeah,
pod?
probably
Yeah.
like a storage place, a storage facility, probably. Maybe not, I don't know. Let's go on to the next question. Sorry. Justin, go way up top, Justin. Go way up there. Here the thigh muscles are working. Yes.
So for Danny Phantom, Sam is like one of my favorite characters. She was like this badass girl, and I was like, yes, yes, queen. And what inspired you to make her like gaunt and badass and stuff like that?
The original idea was, we're like, what kind of a girl would hang out with a ghost kid? You know, and we're like, probably a girl who walks a little bit on the dark side. And one of the original ideas we had for Danny Phantom, we were going to give Danny and Sam a psychic connection, some kind of thing like that. But it got a little too deep, and it was hard to explain it and get it in there all the time. So we didn't do that, but sometimes simpler is better. But that's kind of where we started off. And what do we call them? We don't call them goths anymore. What do we call them now? Emos, yeah. Right. He's an old guy. Okay, anyway.
You said typewriter before, I don't know.
I said typewriter. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, so sad.
It's all good.
But when I saw the movie Back to the Future in the theater 30 years ago, I was so inspired by that movie. I wanted to become a writer, and I went and bought a typewriter, because in '85 we didn't have home computers available yet. And so I sat and I wrote my first screenplay. It sucked. No one will ever see it. But I had to start somewhere. You guys have to start somewhere. You've got to take that first step. Don't not take the first step. You have to take the first step, or someone else is going to take it instead of you. I'm just telling you that you can be a fan. You can be a fan all your life. But if you want to keep doing stuff, I'm a fan of a ton of things. But I get to do my own stuff too, which is so awesome. You take that risk, it'll pay off, I promise you. The first one might not, the second one might not, the third one might. Maybe the first one will, but you won't know unless you take that first step. Has everyone gotten a fidget spinner that asked something?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We got it.
More questions. What else do we have? Jocelyn, here she goes. You guys can also email me questions. I'll give you the email address later. Please spell correctly. Okay, yes.
How was your experience when doing the Jimmy Tinny Power Hour?
How was my experience? Just how was it? It was pretty cool. You know, it was really cool. Here's what's really cool about that. There's moments in your career where perfect things, the perfect storm just happens. You're like, I'm working at Nickelodeon. My lead character's name is Timmy. That lead character's name is Jimmy. They're both 10 years old. One's into science, one's into magic. They're both from the same network. The writers are right down the hall. Hey guys, what are we not doing? What are we not seeing here? That's as simple as it was. And we just sat there and wrote it, and it was really cool if we could make Timmy CG and Jimmy 2D. That was a fun part too. Yeah, we had a blast. We made 3 of them. You guys seen all 3 of them? We did. Would you guys like to see a 4th one? Well, I just might do something on my YouTube channel. You never know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys want to see on the YouTube channel too, so please watch the channel and make suggestions. We'd love that. Spinner for this guy? Got one? Okay, good. Oh, you know what else I have, guys? Oh, I have these things. Hold on a minute. I have a Nerd Network backpack. Who would like one of these? Next question gets one of these. Who wants to have it? All right, where are we? Jocelyn, Justin. Justin's coming. Here he comes. Justin's turn. Dun, 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 dun. Ta-da!
I know this might be a hard question for you, but out of all the projects you've done, which one's your favorite?
Oh, wow. Oh, the graphics one. Okay, there you go. My favorite, you know, I gotta tell you something. It is a hard question. They're all just like your kids. You work on them, you nurture them, you feed them every day, you take care of them. They never leave your sight. You never leave their sight. They're on your mind 24/7. I would probably have to say, gosh, which one? I mean, I really love all of them. I do. It's a toss-up between Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom. Fairly OddParents has been on the longest, and I've just had so much fun on that one. But there's something about Danny Phantom I just love, because I still love working on it, and I think you guys really seem to like it too, I guess. So. Yeah, I think probably toss between one of those two. But I love Tough Puppy, because Jerry Trainer did the voice of Tough Puppy. It's so funny. And Bunsen's great, because it's my first Flash show. It's great. It's awesome, and the characters are awesome too. It's just really, really a blast. All of them are fun. Anybody else? That's how I score my shows, with music. Yes.
Huge fan. I think I remember watching maybe the original airing of Fairly OddParents. I have a question about, I think it was like the 3rd episode. I think it was something like Cosmo has to be evil for a day. I remember it airing a few times, but then never again. And
he has to be evil for a day?
Yeah, something like all the fairies have to be evil once a day every million years. Wanda decided to be evil by killing all the dinosaurs.
Oh gosh, do you remember that one? I barely remember that one. I guarantee if it didn't air, there's no reason behind it. It would have aired, you might just not have seen it. I don't remember being told we can't air that one anymore.
Weird. I remember, I pretty much watched Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, all those shows, all the channels like religiously when I was a kid.
Well, thank you very much. Kept me employed.
Childhood.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Okay, what else? Let's see. How about this young man right here? Two, yeah. Okay, comes.
Like, where did Justin go?
You can do this. I know, Justin's like somewhere. Yes, sir.
What gave you the idea to give Danny a logo in the 2nd season?
The marketing department. Seriously. Now, when you work for a studio, they're like, they never made Danny toys. They made a couple, but they're like, we gotta have a logo for this character. And then I looked at him and I went, well, I guess we do need a logo for this character. Because he's a superhero and he's an insignia of some kind. Yeah, so that really was why the marketing team said we need a logo for him. And then we had to kind of back work it into the show in a flashback episode and stuff, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I love that logo. It took us a long time to come up with that. But once you land on it, though, it seems like it was easy, but some things are a little more difficult. Anybody else? Yes? Well, so many questions. Young man in the red over there, yes?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, how's it going? You don't even need a mic, just go.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so, I got another one. I got a mic. Hello. So you're Butch Hartman. You're really famous. So in regards to this question, so you've obviously been doing Fairly OddParents for a long time. Danny Phantom started like somewhere, while you're still working on Fairly OddParents.
Yes, sir.
Ended far before it. Fairly OddParents is still going on. So I imagine some of it is like pressure from just Nickelodeon to continue pushing this this well-marketed show and everything. So what basically keeps you going?
What keeps me going?
Yes.
Oh man, what keeps me going is I just love what I do. Who loves what they do? Who wants? Who wants to love what they do? I love what I do. I get to draw cartoons every single day, and I get to get them on TV. I get to put them online. That's what I love about having the internet now and having YouTube and things like that. And having my own app, the Noob Network. I can make whatever I want now. It's so cool and exciting.
Do you ever get burnt out though?
No, I don't.
Oh,
people go like, yes, you do. I really don't get burnt out. I love what I do. Now, there are sometimes I'll draw the same character 65 times and I can't think of another character right at the moment. But I'm always doing something. I'm always coming up with something fun for me and something that I eventually want to see made completely. I really am. And I don't play golf. I don't play tennis. I don't, honestly, my friends are like, you play golf? I'm like, I don't have time to go outside for 5 hours. I could be sitting here for 5 hours. Inside, not getting any sun and not eating. Yes. Yes. But yeah, I just love what I do.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for the next question, we can get the mic to somebody. We're talking about all your shows. You saw that graphic, which was from the crossover short.
Oh.
On YouTube and on Nickelodeon. So can you talk about how that came about?
Have you guys seen my crossover short? If you've seen it, let's hear a round of applause. If you've seen it, yeah. If you want to see it, let's hear a round of applause. No, I did just this last year. It came out. We did Nickelodeon it was the 25th anniversary of Nick Animation, and they came to me and said, "You're the only guy with 4 shows. do you mind doing a short where you cross all the shows together?" I said, "Heck yeah, no problem." They wanted it to be 3 or 4 minutes long, so I made a short where we're in Danny Phantom's lab, and the ghost portal opens because someone's messing with the controls. You pan over, and it's Tough Puppy messing with the controls. And then people start coming out of the portals. Cosmo and Timmy come out, Bunsen comes out, and it's a whole big crossover that we did. We released it, it got 1 million views in like 3 days on YouTube. And then on Facebook, it got like 1 million views in like a week. It was crazy. We did really, really well. And Nickelodeon's not doing anything with it. So anyway, we made this really cool crossover. But it's online, you can see it. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yes, sir, this guy right here.
Me?
Behind the camera, and then we'll get to you. Yes.
I was curious as to like what the process of developing character, which it seems how you told it, like you came up with Danny Phantom, the name, and then the character design. Is that right?
Yep.
Then like, how do you avoid making that obvious? Because there are a lot of things where you see where it's like, oh, this is Poochie the dog, like now make up Poochie, that kind of example. How do you avoid that?
Well, I didn't put Poochie the dog into Danny Phantom. No, I'm kidding. When you come up with any design, any character design, like these character designs here, you're like, well, why are people going to watch this character? What is it about this character people are going to love? I like to do shows about characters that I would want to hang around with, that I'd want to be part of their lives. And that's why whenever you see a movie, TV show, anything, the reason you like it is because of the characters. That's why the first 3 Star Wars prequels suck so bad. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Yeah, because the original Star Wars movie, Star Wars, it's not called The New Hope, it's called Star Wars. Star Wars had Luke Skywalker, it had Han Solo, it had Chewbacca, it had Princess Leia, C-3PO. R2-D2 is an amazing character. He's got no face and no voice, and it's amazing. It's an amazing character. That's what character's all about. Taking an inanimate object and making it have personality. I always point to the show The Office. It takes place in a freaking office. It's the most boring environment of all time. But the characters are hilarious. You watch those characters do anything. My first rule with Fairly Odd Parents when we started writing it was, these characters have to be funny whether they have magic or not. Magic, if we don't do a show with magic at all, the characters have to be funny. Cosmo's hilarious, you watch him do anything. Anything. You watch Timmy do anything. You watch Mr. Crocker do anything. You watch... Thanks for letting me stand past my bedtime, Mother. You watch... Oh, come on, Turner, what's wrong with you? You pretty fairy. You will watch these characters do anything because they're funny. It helps that the characters are great. And how I develop them is you just start saying their lines and saying their dialogue. Coming up with characters that you really, really want to hang around with. And I encourage you all, if you guys are going to do anything at all, make the character great. The story can be great. Obviously, you come up with a great story. But the character's got to be great first. There's 1 million different superhero amazing movies out there that aren't good because the characters are boring. DC Comics, anybody? No offense to DC Comics, but the movies aren't as good as the Marvel movies because the Marvel movies have funnier characters in them.
Oh, yeah.
They're just better characters. Tony Stark is a great character. You know what I mean? And then they make a Superman movie where Superman's all dark and miserable and sad. It was like, come on, really? Really? Didn't kill somebody? I'm sorry. I don't want to give it away.
Well, you just did.
I just gave it away.
Oh, we got about 5 more minutes left, so let's do like a speed round if we can. We can go around.
I'll just pick people out. I'll just pick people out. Cameraman person.
Yeah, so we're getting like, right now Nickelodeon's coming up with revivals of old cartoons like Rocko's Modern World and Hey Arnold.
Yep.
And because the Fairly Odd Parents is still on, no like reboot or anything.
No, yeah, no.
But can we, if those pick up well, can we expect Danny Phantom to make the same comeback as those ones are?
We can definitely expect it. I would hope so. Yes, it'd be great. I think it'd be awesome, right? Right? It'd be awesome. So hopefully we will get to see a Danny Phantom reboot soon. It would be a blast to work on. Yes, sir.
What kind of personality do you need to be to make it to this industry?
What kind of personality do you need to be to make it in the industry? You have to be a little insane, but in a good way. You have to be brave. You have to be very brave. I'm not touting myself. I became braver as time went on. You need to be brave. Don't have any fear. That's the number one thing. If you have fear, you're never going to go anywhere, guys. Don't have any fear. It's not a good thing to have. You're not born with fear, which is the funny thing. You ever see a little baby afraid of anything? They walk up to everything and they touch everything. We're taught fear as children. Don't be afraid. And you have to have a personality where you, honestly, you want to have a good time. You know, this is not something that is like, you know, a really hard job where you have to work out in the hot sun. You get to draw cartoons and have a great time, be creative, and tell stories. I love telling stories. If you're an artist, you're a storyteller. No, I'm not. I'm just an artist. No, you're a storyteller. Every drawing you do tells a story in some way. That's why Fred and I both stressed tonight, you need to learn how to tell stories. You need to learn how to write stories. You need to learn how to make characters come alive through their dialogue and through their actions. And why is Dwight funny on The Office differently than Michael? Why is Michael funny and why is Dwight funny? They're both funny, but in different ways. You know, have a personality that's willing to take risks and go the extra mile. Be a hard worker. How about way in the back? Where we got? Way in the back. Anybody? Yes, sir.
Would you say Ghostbusters is a big inspiration, or did you have to fight to make Danny Phantom different?
Ghostbusters is not an inspiration at all. I love Ghostbusters. When I was thinking about it, though, I would say it was funny. When I first started the show, I'd say Scooby-Doo was more of an inspiration than Ghostbusters. No, because I was going to make him like, it was going to be called Danny Phantom and the Spectre Detectors. You know? Oh, it's going Scoob, take that crazy mummy case, you know? But I wanted to make it a lot more serious and actually give Danny the ghost powers and all that. I had this really cool motorcycle for Danny Phantom too. It was like a flying motorcycle. It was so cool. But he could fly, so I didn't need a motorcycle. I just killed that idea. Yes, sir.
You mentioned you like comics a lot. Would you say that there's any particular run or series that inspired you a lot in your?
I do love comics a lot. Good question. I love The Watchmen. I love Watchmen. I loved a book that came out in the mid-90s called The Authority. It was pretty cool. That was great. Yeah, I love the classic Spider-Man stuff too. I love the classic comics. I really am a huge Spider-Man fan. I think I draw him more than anything else. But yeah, I also have a comic book that just came out. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called The 3 O'Clock Club. And the graphic novel comes out. It's a 5-issue series. The 5 issues are out. And the graphic novel comes out in October. 3 O'Clock Club. And this is an example of when you pitch a show one place, it can actually come to life somewhere else. I pitched it as a TV show to Nickelodeon. It's about a group of kids who go to a high school where something weird happens every day at 3 o'clock. And a portal opens over the school, and whatever the kids are nervous about comes out of the portal. Like if there's a dinosaur test, dinosaurs come down. Is there music playing? Did I just get a tumor? Is there music? Anyway. But anyway, these kids have to beat back whatever comes out of the portal by 4 o'clock. If they don't, it continues. But if they beat it back by 4, everything resets and nobody remembers it except for them. Because they have these special badges. And the lead kid is like 500 years old because he started the problem. And he can't leave the school grounds or else he'll die. It's a really cool story. But I pitched it as a TV show to Nickelodeon and they said no, so we pitched it as a comic book. Now it's a graphic novel. It's really cool. But that's writing. We had to write this thing. I didn't even draw this comic book. I don't have time to draw a comic book. It takes forever. But the story's really cool. We really worked hard on the story. I have time for one more question. Who will it be? Right there in the white shirt. Yes, you. Right there. Go like this. Yeah, that's you. Yeah. Yeah.
What is your favorite game or video game and why?
Oh, okay. I wish I had more time to play video games. My favorite video game of all time is Halo. Yeah. And the last video game I played to the end was Batman Arkham City. Which I really love. Yeah, but there are so many killer games. I wish I had time to play them. I'd love to develop a video game someday too, but they're so cool now. They're like movies you can. A Danny Phantom video game, yes, of course, yes, yeah, we love that. Okay, one more question. I got time for one more. I'm gonna go over here. What do I got? Yes, you. Yeah, loud.
So back when you created that one Channel Chasers movie,
yes.
Which of the parodies was your favorite?
Oh, who's seen Channel Chasers? Yeah. Which parody was my favorite? I think the part where Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was my favorite because we got to do CGI. That was the first time I got to do CGI, so that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that, but I really loved the Peanuts one too. The Charlie Brown thing was pretty cool too. Yeah, that was fun. All right, guys.
Before we wrap up, I want to get a picture of you with everybody here.
Can we do that?
Yeah. Ready? Can you see me?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, oh yeah, we can see.
Everybody wave.
No, wait, let's just have you, we're gonna make this an Instagram video, so I'm just gonna have you walk across.
You want me to walk across
Yeah.
with Danny?
Because I can't get, I want to get everybody's beautiful faces here.
Okay,
So
ready
let's,
guys? Everybody be excited, be cheering, okay?
Yeah, be cheering. Ready?
CrunchyRoll Expo.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Guys, thanks very much. Tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow, and I'm at the autograph booth area, and I have, if you see my latest CrunchyRoll video I did anime characters in the Fairly Odd Parents style. And I made prints of a lot of the drawings that I will be selling for $20 a print. I'll sign them for you out there if you want to come tomorrow. So
That's at 11:30 a.m. at the autograph center.
11:30 a.m. tomorrow, guys. Thanks so much.
We got it.
Come back tomorrow. Okay.
That's okay.
Well, thank you.
It's okay.
You got it, kid. I'm so glad you came. That's a killer guy. I know, right? What's up, guys?
Toast the corn.